Hi, and welcome to today's broadcast. I've got a few minutes to talk about the GOP coup. I'm glad to see some people have started a hashtag on Twitter. Twitter is sometimes a bit of a melting pot of ideas and collected energies that help promote discussion in the media, which is good because the media were, to be frank, underreporting on the GOP coup memo. That is to say, the memo that Mark Meadows gave over to the January the 6th committee, presumably in the belief that it was amongst the lesser incriminating things that he had in his possession for himself. And of course, the memo is an elaborate 38-page document that contains various suggestions, namely that the electronic vote should be ruled invalid and Trump should send the National Guard out and mobilize people to form secure perimeters around polling stations and just recount some of the paper vote, thus disenfranchising the many tens of millions of Americans that voted using electronic voting machines as provided and secured by the various structure of American governance. States administer elections, and the federal government gave funds to ramp up election security, and those funds were complemented by funds from private donors as well, who just wanted to provide grants for local election places to be able to operate in the COVID climate. So yes, let's watch this quick video of American host Chip Franklin. That team made this 1-minute video, which has a good summary of the push by various Republicans to say, let's win back the House majority in 2022 and then make Trump the Speaker of the House, even though he's not a currently elected politician, and impeach Joe Biden. So it's good for people to realize that is what's on the cards, to know what we should be mobilizing against, to oppose, to say nothing of the continued Republican efforts to confect drama, to pretend that gas prices rising, or as they are now falling in many areas, to conflate that with the sky falling in and distract attention away from the ongoing and compounding effects of Trump's contrarian approach to COVID. That is to say, his ability to discourage his followers from accepting the need to have any COVID mitigation measures, be those measures masking, distancing, staying away from indoor gatherings, or getting vaccinated to the maximum degree possible in order to not only protect oneself as an individual, but to provide protection to one's community through building up a bulwark of vaccinated individuals, because vaccinated immunity has been systematically demonstrated to be stronger than immunity from prior infections. So if you've had a prior infection and you're vaccinated, then yes, that is two different streams of immunity that are additive, so you've got stronger protection. But ultimately, having your 3 shots, your 2 initial shots and a booster shot, is a great way to have about 70 to 76% immunity against the new Omicron variant. And that's important to a lot of people, because even a mild case of COVID can jeopardize people's well-being, can deprive people of their sense of smell and taste, deprive them of energy, and leave them with lingering post-COVID effects, to say nothing of potentially endangering people's lives. Well, not potentially, people are still dying of COVID. So let's press play on this video.
Donald Trump for Speaker of the House.
Yeah, this is really happening.
It's insane.
That's Matt Gaetz, along with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Paul Gosar, 4 Republicans who Darwin left behind. For the record, Matt's under investigation for trafficking minors.
Prostitutes.
Beauport's facing censure for January the 6th.
Back alley dumpster.
Green's a QAnon cult leader.
Q is anonymous.
And Paul Gosar,
I rise up for myself.
he doesn't even know what day it is. Yet if the Democrats lose the House, they will make Trump Speaker and impeach Biden.
Why wait till 2024?
Republicans have already passed laws in Ohio and Texas to keep the poor and people of color away from the polls. 60 years ago, they used water cannons. Today, they simply close voting precincts and strip your name from the rolls.
This
Since
is true.
1988, only one Republican president has won the popular vote.
Now that's f***ed up.
So they said, screw this, we'll just change the rules. Trump 2022 is a slow-moving coup that just shifted gears.
And let's go get them.
They're coming. Are you ready?
Damn right.
Where's Kamala? Storming the Capitol.
Donald Trump for Speaker of the House.
Yeah, this is really happening.
It's insane.
That's Matt.
Complaining about Microsoft Office all this time, and it's maybe I just pressed a button. So yes, but what was remarkable that I'm taking from that video is digging out that fact that only one Republican president since 1988 has won the popular vote. Which president was that? Would it have been Reagan? But in any case, it's an extraordinary indictment of the system of democracy in the United States. America is a republic, but that is a version of a democracy. And America's particular version of democracy contains embedded pandering to white supremacists. And the initial compromise of the Electoral College system was done to assure voters, powerful landowning voters in southern states, that they would not be subject to political dominance by voters in abolitionist states. So it was a way of expanding the political influence of smaller, lower population states, which had largely agricultural economies that had considerable wealth built up from exploiting the labor of forced chattel enslaved people, chattel slavery, slavocracies as it were. The Constitution had the Electoral College provision so that instead of a direct democracy, not a direct democracy, instead of a popular vote democracy, which is the kind of democracy many other democratic countries around the world have, you had this convoluted system of awarding states different points to balance out the influence of large populations, i.e. large numbers of voters, diminishing the magic of the wisdom of a crowd. Because Donald Trump lost the popular vote. The wisdom of America's crowds determined that he was a charlatan, a con man, and unfit for public office. But the Electoral College system awarded him the victory in 2016. 2020, again, Trump lost the popular vote by 7 million votes. Again, the wisdom of crowds, identifying a dangerous hardened criminal who brought those same career instincts of self-marketing and a degree of emboldened hedonistic pursuit of his self-interest and the ability to lie to people's face in a way that most people couldn't even imagine was possible. So to lie about a pandemic whereby hundreds of thousands of people would lose their lives purely to try and increase his political chances in the election by establishing himself as the contrarian candidate, the anti-establishment candidate, the candidate who could tell you COVID's really a hoax and that reality will manifest itself into being if you just vote for me. Then you won't have to worry about lockdowns or any other hardships because vote for me and COVID won't be real. Whereas Democrats will bring all this harm onto your businesses and onto your personal lives by fabricating a pandemic just to hurt me, your favorite guy, your favorite white supremacist, Donald Trump. Knowledge is noting that he was only 3 years old in 1988. That's a long time that Republicans have been losing the popular vote in elections that would normally see the loser of the popular vote lose the election. Imagine America today if they hadn't had a Republican president, or had only had one Republican president since 1988. There would be public schools would be better funded. America's roads would not have potholes to the extent that they do. Bridges would be in better condition, and America would be more competitive on the world stage. Of course, America has many sterling attributes that we should celebrate. It has innovation, it has entrepreneurship, it has a lot of forward momentum. And I credit migrants for that. I know white supremacists would like to credit real Americans for grit and old-fashioned work ethic and say that's where America's greatness is from. Some of it. Some of it's a lot of protective instincts around protecting not only slaveocracy, but the dynamic of slaveocracy, the dynamic of imprisoning people and using their labor for free, because of course that's a subset of the 13th Amendment that still continues today. You're allowed to enslave people provided they've been convicted of a crime. You're allowed to pay them a token pittance of a few cents whilst making a lot of money from whatever their labor is directed towards. And that's legal. That's a clause of the 13th Amendment, that a type of slavery is permitted for those convicted through the legal system. And of course, many people would be wise to the fact now as well that the searchlights of the legal system are often directed far more sharply towards people of color. They're more likely to be investigated, their cars are more likely to be stopped and searched, and they're more likely to be prosecuted for minor drug offenses. So thanks for listening today. I have to go, but hopefully talk again soon, and take care of yourselves, particularly with the winter surge of COVID and the Omicron variant, which is very, very contagious. You may want to try and be vigilant with masks and just have safety affirmations to yourself, even if people around you aren't wearing masks. Masks function better when they're employed at higher rates of usage. So it's frustrating that other people won't wear masks and that people are tired of wearing masks. What that really means is anti-health propaganda has had serious penetration into the American public, and that's why lots of people disdain to wear their masks or feel that it's not necessary for them. It is necessary because the pandemic is not over. It shrunk. It couldn't die. We couldn't get rid of it because of the huge swathe of the American public that is still a holdout for vaccination. And of course, it's still an ongoing task to help vaccinate the rest of the world as well. And at least the Biden administration is contributing to that goal, because we're all in the same world. It's a very interconnected world. And when you vaccinate a high proportion of everybody in the world against COVID, then you can truly be said to have defeated it. And maybe there'll be boosters like there are flu shots every year. Who knows what the future will look like, because pandemic defiance and pandemic obstructionism is very hard to push back against successfully. But of course, every effort we make contributes. So thank you if you're one of the people joining in that effort to defend the need to be vaccinated. And if you've been vaccinated and obtained a booster shot yourself, good for you. Keep up the good work. Talk again soon. Stay safe and take care of each other as well as yourselves. Bye.